My name is Alan. I have a wife and 2 young daughters. I'm just an ordinary man who has a boring office job. But what I'm about to tell you is something incredible. For this story, I need you to open your mind as much as you can. I won't judge you if you don't believe me. To tell you the truth, if my family hadn't gone through what I have, I wouldn't believe myself either. It all started when we moved into this house where my parents had lived all their lives. My mother had recently passed away and the house was uninhabited. We decided that what she would have wanted was for us to live there, to fill the house with new and beautiful memories with her granddaughters. What we didn't know was that we were not going to be alone. At first, we only heard strange noises in the house. The children would tell me that they saw people walking around at night, that the doors would open and close by themselves, or that the doorbell would ring by itself. I can't deny the noises, but the kids had never lived in a big house, so the rest was probably a product of their imagination. After a while, even I couldn't deny what was happening. Doors opened and closed on their own without the slightest drop of air running through the house. The faucets opened and some rooms were freezing in the middle of summer. All this would have been enough for me to leave except for one detail. I was sure that the presence that inhabited the house was my mother. At first, I was afraid, but eventually I began to hear someone humming a familiar song. It was the same one my mother used to sing to me when I was little. My family didn't seem very convinced of this, but I convinced them by making them see what was going on in the house. Had never hurt any of us in any way. Everything was fine for a while. We tried to get used to what was going on, but things started to get worse. Some dishes started flying dangerously against us. The kids felt constantly watched, and even I started to get a strange feeling that something bad was going to happen. Was my mom mad about something? Or was there something else in the house? We had only one way to find out. Ask her. The day we chose to do it was Halloween, since that was the night when all the spirits are most active and all the paranormal activity increases. We bought an Ouija board with my wife, and no one looked at us worried. Apparently, everyone bought them for this date. When the night came, the girls went to a friend's house to spend the night and ask for candy. So the house was only for me, my wife, and my brother, who proposed to help us with the process.
Playing with the Ouija board on Halloween. How fitting, right?
Make one more joke and I'll go trick-or-treating with the girls.
Mothers-in-law are really scary, aren't they?
Without further words, we started to play. We started asking her simple questions like if there was someone on the other side or if she lives with us in the house. But when we asked her if she was my mother, the board went to no, and the mood changed immediately.
Alan, it said no.
Is my mother with you? Can we talk to her?
Alan, I don't like this. We should get going.
What do you want from us?
B L O O D.
Before I could say anything, the board shook much harder, and suddenly, it launched itself at me.
To hell with saying goodbye! Let's go!
My brother screamed in terror as we all started to run. The house began to shake and all the paintings fell down. We reached the exit door and everyone ran to the car, but I stopped. Behind me, I heard my mother humming the lullaby.
Alan, what the hell are you doing? Let's go!
No, I have to check to see if I see my mom. Wait for me! I promise I'll be right back! Just let it be! That is not Mom!
Without hearing them yelling at me to come back, I went back into the house. Maybe it sounds crazy. Hell, it was probably crazy. But I wanted to hold on to the slim chance of seeing her again one last time. I went into the room where we played Ouija, and the light in the next room, the kitchen, began to flicker. I stood in the dining room looking at her, and there she was. My mom, upon seeing me, stopped humming the song. I was about to hug her, but I felt something strange that prevented me from going. But at the same time, my body was totally paralyzed, and I could only stand there looking at her. That's more than I needed. My mother wasn't here. She never was, just something that played with me from the beginning. I got in the car crying, and as Cheryl was scolding me, I looked at the window of the house, and standing in it was my mother standing there, greeting me with a huge smile. Her eyes and mouth were cooked as she finished waving at me. Her face was shaking, like the monster I had seen in the kitchen. Several months passed since everything happened. After my brother put us up in his house, we were able to raise the money to move out on our own again. We did not suffer any paranormal event again, nor did we try to sell that house. We do not wish that nightmare on anyone else. From now on, no more ghosts. I will only spend time with my wife and daughters. It's what my mother would have wanted.
You mean what? What do you want? Hello, man. Oh my God, Tommy!
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy. This incident happened one Halloween night. Since then, I have stopped celebrating Halloween in my house. My wife and I couldn't have children of our own. Hence, we generally had a soft corner for kids. My wife Samara would buy lots and lots of candies before every Halloween to give to the neighborhood kids. So this one Halloween, we went to the supermarket to pick up groceries and candies. While returning home, we saw cop cars in front of our neighbor's house. Feeling curious, I stopped the car.
Oh, I think something bad has happened here.
So many cops here.
Look, the paramedics are coming too.
My wife pointed at the ambulance coming our way, and I realized the gravity of the situation. A group of people were decorating the streets for Halloween, but now they were all gathered around the house watching the scene with us. 2 cops came out of the house, and we heard a woman's shrill cry.
Oh God, my son, my poor Liam. Oh God, I want him back. I want him back, please.
We saw our neighbor, Mr. Dempsey, trying his best to hold his paranoid wife. Miss Dempsey was out of control. She was screaming and crying like hell. The paramedics went in and took out a smaller boy that was wrapped in black polythene. It wasn't hard to tell from the size of the boy that it belonged to a child. The cops took away the body, and Mr. and Miss Dempsey went to the paramedics. My wife and I were still standing there with no clue whatsoever. When we saw 2 men coming our way, I asked one of them,
Excuse me, what happened here? Oh, don't ask, man. Poor Dempseys. They lost their child before Halloween. What? Why? What happened? Their 7-year-old son was playing in the basement when he accidentally locked himself inside an old cupboard. Mr. and Mrs. Dempsey were upstairs in the kitchen when they called out to their son for dinner and he didn't show up. They felt weird and went down to check on him. They searched the entire basement but couldn't find him.
That's horrifying. How did they find him then?
Well, Mrs. Dempsey saw a piece of blue cloth peeking out from the cupboard door. She opened it and then found the poor, lifeless kid inside the cupboard.
Samara got emotional, and I too felt extremely bad for the Dempseys. No pain in this world could surpass the pain of losing your child. We came home and Samara didn't talk the entire afternoon. She just sat on our porch and watched the neighbors dressing up for Halloween. Once the sun went down, kids started to come out of their houses wearing all kinds of spooky costumes. They went door to door asking for candies. No matter how disheartened we were, we still got up, brought our candy bowls, and gave them to all the kids who came trick-or-treating.
You know, Jonah, I just realized something today.
Samara said while closing the door after distributing the last bit of candies to a group of kids.
What's that, hon?
It's good that we don't have kids. At least I don't have to be afraid of losing them. I just can't imagine what pain Mrs. Dempsey is going through right now.
I could see her teary eyes. I hugged her and kissed her on the forehead.
Come on, let's go to bed. You need to sleep.
That poor kid.
We went upstairs. I stood in front of the bedroom window for a while. The entire neighborhood had gone quiet by the time. All the kids were back home. Every house was glittering with lights and candles placed inside pumpkin heads except the Dempseys. Their house was in complete darkness. Heaving a sigh of sorrow, I went to bed too. I don't remember when I fell asleep, but suddenly, a noise woke me up. Rubbing my eyes, I got up on the bed and heard that noise again. Someone was knocking on the door. I looked at the clock. It was 2:30 in the morning. Samara was deeply asleep. I came downstairs and opened the door. To my surprise, a kid was standing on my porch. A boy wearing a blue t-shirt and white shorts. He kept his head down so I couldn't see his face.
Hey, kiddo, why are you out so late? Do your parents know you're here? No.
The kid's voice sounded so weird to my ears. Also, the fact that he was dressed so casually startled me a bit. After all, it was Halloween, and this kid was not in a costume. I asked again.
Are you all right?
As the kid lifted his head, I almost got a heart attack. His face was pale like a blank sheet, and his eyes were completely black, darker than the darkness.
Whoa, you look pretty spooky. This was a good idea for a Halloween costume, though.
I'm hungry. Can I have some candies?
He opened his palm, saying this.
You're a little late, buddy, but let me see what I can do. Wait here, okay?
The kid tilted his head to the right and just stood that way like a statue. I thought to myself that this kid not only nailed his Halloween look, but also acted scarily. I went to check the fridge and found a half-eaten chocolate bar. I grabbed it and came back to the door to give it to the kid, but he was gone. Thinking the kid had gotten inside, I quickly turned around and said,
Hey, I have some chocolate for you. Take it and go home. Your parents must be worried.
But the kid was nowhere to be seen. I was contemplating what just happened when I heard chuckling and running footsteps in our basement. I opened the basement door and yelled.
Come out of there, kiddo. It's too late to play here. Come on, let me take you home.
I can't see. It's so dark in here. Just like last time.
I turned on the basement light, but shockingly, it didn't turn on. I remember very well that the light was working just fine in the afternoon. Thinking the kid might get scared down there, I grabbed a small flashlight and started walking down the basement stairs. 2 white bed sheets were hanging on the wire at the end of the basement. As I flashed my light at the gap between those sheets, I saw the kid standing there and staring at me with a creepy big smile.
Okay, time to go home now.
Saying this, I walked to the bed sheets, and as I moved them to catch the kid, the hair at the back of my neck stood up. I found myself standing alone in the basement. It was as if the kid just vanished in thin air. There was no one. I repeat, no one behind those sheets. A chilling wind turned the atmosphere around me cold. That's when I heard the chuckle once again. Turning around, I now saw the kid standing right behind me. Blue veins had appeared on his pale face, and the black, thick liquid was dripping down from his eyes. He snatched the chocolate bar from my hand, and I felt his touch. His hands were colder than ice.
What? Who are you?
I am Liam Dempsey. Can you take me home now? I think I'm lost. Can you help me?
Oh my God!
That's it. I don't remember after that. I fainted, and Samara found me in the basement when she came looking for me in the morning. She was surprised and kept asking me why I was sleeping on the basement floor the entire night. But I couldn't tell her what I saw. I often heard about these black-eyed kids, but it was my first time with a real one. I don't know why poor Liam turned into a black-eyed kid, but I think the fact that he died in darkness somehow made him look that way. What do you think? Somehow made him look that way. What do you think? Do you really know how much a traumatic situation can break a child? Sometimes it's hard to admit, but my father is a disgusting monster. When I was young, although he was never particularly fond of me, he didn't treat me bad either. On the other hand, with my sister, that man was different. Ever since Jane was born, 6 years after me, our father was always very close to her, pampering and overprotecting her all the time. Our mother thought she was just Daddy's spoiled daughter. But 2 years ago, we found out what he was really doing to her at the time. Something that shouldn't be done to a child. Soon, Mom denounced him, and so he left our lives. But my sister had already been very affected. As a 10-year-old girl, Jane suffered from fits of rage and was very emotionally dependent on her family. More on me than our mother. She didn't like to play with other children or leave the house. In fact, when she saw another man, she would start screaming. For 2 years, Jane had been receiving therapy. She had even changed her psychologist several times. But her case was progressing slowly. Still, our mom didn't want my sister to be given any kind of medication.
Adam,
I'm here, in the kitchen. What's going on?
why didn't you wake me up? You're having breakfast without me?
Oh, chill out.
Even though I asked her to, her angry expression didn't change.
You were sleeping so peacefully, I didn't want to... Anyway, I prepared your food, okay?
Do you like leaving me alone?
You know I don't. I just did it to let you rest, I think.
Right, I needed to rest, because today is Halloween.
But you don't even like to go out.
I'll wait all night for you to bring me my candy.
It was common for me to do that on Halloween, and in fact, I liked to bring her candy to make her happy. But that year, I had different plans.
I'm sorry, little one, but tonight I won't be able to make it.
But what about my candy?
I'll buy you some tomorrow.
It's not the same. What are you gonna do then, huh?
The truth was that, weeks ago, my best friend Billy had invited me and Emma, another friend, to a Halloween party.
Are you going out with Emma?
I'm going out with my friends. It'll just be this time, okay?
In the evening that same day, I was ready. I had disguised myself as a skeleton. In fact, I was truly satisfied with my appearance. A short time later, I received a message from Emma. "I'm outside your house," it said, since we had planned to go to Billy's Halloween party together. As I opened the front door of my house,
Looks good on you.
I was gonna say exactly the same.
luckily, the abandoned house where Billy had planned to have the party wasn't too far away, but we had to cross a path through the woods. After a while, we arrived at an old building.
It's pretty obvious it's here, isn't it? I mean, I can't remember the last time I heard so much noise.
Oh, shut up. Let's have some fun.
My friend took me by the hand, and together, we ran towards the place. Arriving at the front door, she rang the bell. Soon, Billy opened it.
Man, you came! Hey!
Let's get to the point, Billy. Where are the drinks?
Follow me. Oh. Can you check that, Adam? I'll be right back.
I didn't mind helping him, so I turned and walked to the door.
Huh? But there's no one... Shit!
As a reflex action, I had moved away, but I went back to the door as soon as the bell rang again.
What the hell? A fucking mask?
The stranger stood still for a few seconds, until suddenly, they launched towards the doorbell camera.
Stop it already! What's up, Adam? I thought you were gonna open the door. It was a kid making a joke. If you say so. Come on, don't you want to dance with Emma?
I put aside what had happened and walked over to my friend, who was already dancing in the crowd.
Adam!
I joined her, which really relaxed me, as moving my body to the music was quite fun, until I saw that person again. The broken doll was now inside the house, separated from the other people.
What's wrong?
I think there is a child at the party.
A child?
In the blink of an eye, my friend's expression changed to one of fear.
Emma?
When she fell to the ground, I could see that she had a knife stuck in her torso.
Emma! Billy, come here!
My friend came after a few seconds when the people around were realizing what was happening.
Shh. What happened? I don't know. What the fuck are you waiting for? Call an ambulance!
I took my cell phone out of one of my pants pockets, but I couldn't concentrate.
I can't do anything with such loud music! Well then go upstairs, genius!
It didn't take me long to walk among the people until I reached the stairs of the house and went up to the second floor. I typed the emergency number and was about to call.
Adam.
What?
The broken doll was there, coming up the stairs in an oddly wobbly way.
Did you like what I did to Emma?
What the?
My heart started beating fast when I saw the person had a knife in their hand, so I decided to run along a hall, enter a room, and lock the door.
Adam, I need you.
I could barely see in there.
What the heck? What the heck?
You are there, aren't you? Get out! I need you.
Is this a fucking joke? I'm calling the police!
The police? What for? Forget that. I need you. Let's go for my candy together.
My skin got goosebumps the moment I realized.
Jane?
I'm not afraid to go out anymore. I can take care of anyone who wants to hurt me. You saw it yourself.
My sister was too young to go to jail and broken enough to be sent to a mental hospital. So that's where she is now. After the attack, I did my best to apologize to Emma, but that didn't make it any better, as it had been too traumatic for everyone involved. Sometimes it's hard to admit, but I don't miss Jane.